Welcome to the Murfreesboro Real Estate Report. This is where we look at the weekly housing stats for Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Vergne, Tennessee, Eagleville, Rutherford County, and everywhere in between. Christiana, Lascassas, Milton, Rockvale. What have I left out, y'all? Y'all comment below on what I've left out. Walter Hill. So anyway, we look forward to bringing these to you every week. I'm John Turner. I'm the team lead with the Turner Victory Team at Onward Real Estate. And we know that real estate is local, so we like bringing you local stats every week. That way we can stay right up to date on any trends, any breaking news. Whenever you only look at it once a month or once every couple of months, you can miss some of those nuances. So look forward to bringing it to you today. Let's go ahead and get started with this week's stats. And by the way, we're going to talk a little bit national things as well, and we'll get to those shortly. And we'll talk about some mortgage rates on top of that and kind of what's going on there. So, by the way, Merry Christmas, y'all. This is Christmas week. This is the week ending. This will come out on December 22nd. So, right before Christmas. Hope you've got a wonderful Christmas planned. And hopefully you'll be able to take a little downtime and spend it with the family. So, but here we are. This week, we always start across the bottom first. We have 1,393 available homes on the market. We'll talk about whether that's up or down here in a minute. 83 homes pended this past week. So 83 people, 83 families, 83 couples, buyers, investors, whatever, are going to have new homes more than likely. They will not close till 2026 now, but they're going to start the new year off in a new home. Or those were new listings. Sorry about that. I was talking about pendings whenever I was talking about they're going to start in 2026 in new homes. So excuse me there, wrong column. There were 80 homes that pended this week. 79 people actually closed this week, 79 units. So that means that 79 people will hopefully be in their new home before Christmas. So we had 73 homes delisted. That means they were either expired, the listing agreements did, or the sellers decided to pull them off the market. And over the past 3 months, we've had 1,240 homes close in Rutherford County. This leaves us on a 3-month rolling average of a 3.37 month supply of inventory. And almost 6% of the homes that are on the market went under contract this week. If you'll notice up here, and look at all these twos here. 500,000 and below right now. We are below 2 months, almost below 2.5 months supply of inventory in those markets. And it's interesting, we have more inventory in the 300,000s than we do the 400,000s. That's a trend that's been shifting, but it was not that way just a few weeks ago. If you look, the 700s and the 800s right now are approaching, they're over 5 months, approaching 6 months supply. 900s has become a lot more healthy over the past few weeks. And then, of course, our million plus, they're such a small part of the Rutherford County market. They do not really impact it a whole lot one way or another, but if you're a builder looking in those price ranges, you certainly want to keep an eye on what's going on there. We don't want oversupply because obviously it makes it a lot harder to get those sold. So let's go ahead. We're going to look at our charts right here with our new listing chart. As you can see, we had the big spike a couple of weeks ago. We talked about that. That was some builders throwing some inventory on the market that most of it hadn't even started construction yet. I think they're just trying to get ready for the spring season, so wanted to get that out there. We did have 83 new listings. That is up over last year. This time we had 68 at this time last year, but still kind of within the same range. The pendings, the red line is the pendings, 80 pendings. That is an increase. We had over last year, we had 68 last year. It's also a 2-week increase. We were down to 72 a couple weeks ago, but went up to 77 and now 80. Those are all still pretty close. It's not like a huge increase or anything. But it is interesting that we did surpass last year, especially since we had this big spike last year of 111 there. So month supply. we keep just floating between 3.3 and 3.5 month supply. You know, part of the reason why that is not growing more is because our inventory levels are down. I will show you the available inventory here for 2025. I keep talking about this whole curve we see here. That is a normal seasonal curve. It's kind of nice that we're getting into a little bit more of a seasonal type market. For years in Rutherford County, the market, we had different seasons with it. But once we got into the COVID days, it was just gung ho the whole time. It didn't matter whether it was summer or fall or winter or whatever. It was just go, 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 go. And then we hit mid 2022, and I don't know that we saw many seasons. We just saw a downturn. So it is interesting. We're starting to get back into the seasons. As I said before, we did peak at 1606 on our inventory. We are down to 1393. I would not be surprised to see that figure get close to 1300 right after the first of the year. But we will see. That's just my prediction, and that's kind of the way that we expect the markets to go. If you remember the past couple of years, we were pending about 10% of the market each week. This week we were at 5%, almost 6%. So it was a little bit higher than what we've seen, but that's due to an increase in the pendings and also a decrease in the number of homes on the market. So let me see. I believe, that's it for this chart. Let's get into the 30-year mortgage. We talk about this all the time as just being a benchmark for us. The mortgage rate that we talk about here is not necessarily the rate that you will get if you're a buyer, because it's going to depend on what type of mortgage you're going with, how much you're putting down, what your credit score is. But this is a good benchmark to see where things are moving. The 30-year fixed as of Thursday was at 6.21. That is very close to the lowest we've seen this year. There was a 6.19, and then right here at 6.17. So still trending well. We were at 7, a little above 7 early this year. So hopefully in January we don't see that happen again. Hopefully we'll be about a point below that. The other thing we talk about sometimes is the spread, and I think it's important to look at this because it's really working in our favor. So a spread, basically what you can do is you can take the 10-year Treasury, and I've got that over here. So right now, the 10-year Treasury is at 4.155, okay, 4.155%. If you'll take that, and if you will add this spread to it, and right now the spread is at 2.06, so 4.55 and 2.06 puts you at, let me see, was it 4.155? Yeah, so it basically puts you close to 4.2. I'm sorry, 6.2. If you go back here, 6.21. So that's really how you come up with the mortgage rates. But the interesting thing about the spread, I'm sorry, that menu keeps popping up every time I go back. This is looking back at 5 years. And if you look here in July and August and October of 2023, we were at nearly 3% on that spread. Also, the 10-year Treasury was up close to 5%. So that's when we were seeing 8% mortgages. So the nice thing is not only have we seen the 10-year Treasury drop, we have seen the spread drop down. And the more it can drop, the more it's going to help mortgage rates, whether or not the 10-year Treasury goes down. And the spread is just how much it costs these companies to do business, these mortgage companies. Some of it takes into account risk and different things. So it does look like some of the costs are easing. There is a push nationally to get some of those costs down. And plus some of the risks they feel like might be easing as well. So just interesting things to keep your eye on. Motivation rate for sellers in Rutherford County is 5.87. So it's getting over here kind of further away from the stubborn edge, getting closer to fire sale, even though we're nowhere close to a fire sale. But and in Murfreesboro, 5.93. So even a little bit more motivated. And 30% of all the homes in Murfreesboro have had a price reduction. All the homes that are for sale have. And 34% of all the homes in Rutherford County have had a price reduction. So Housing markets where home prices are falling. I won't talk about this because we won't talk about Nashville just a little bit. We came out a couple of weeks ago with the FHFA chart showing that for the third quarter, Nashville had dropped 0.8% in home values. If you look at these first few places, they are being hit hard. Punta Gorda is being hit the hardest, and they're down in Florida, over 12% reduction in prices right now. But a lot of these places here at the top of the list are Florida, and they're having, the big challenges because of the hurricanes and, with insurance and insurability and all this stuff. So it's just making it a lot tougher for them. We also see Hawaii here. Austin right here is a big one. Austin saw the most appreciation in the COVID years. So it's natural that their market is normalizing. Our market is normalizing too, but look how far I have to scroll down here to get to Nashville. Okay, it's the Nashville, Franklin, Murfreesboro MSA. And look at all this scrolling I'm having to do. Even Chattanooga is a little bit higher than us at minus 5.8. They've got us right here at minus 0.37 as far as prices go. So basically, we just switched from a positive to appreciation. We switched to a depreciating market. Now, I think we're just on the cusp of this. I think we're going to see some more depreciation, but I don't think it's going to be anything rapid. I don't think it's going to be anything great. I think what we're trying to do is our market's trying to normalize where we can bring wages into account and with home prices. I think we're just going to have to see some of that. The good news is nationally wages are outpacing inflation. So as home prices come down, if wages can continue to increase, that's going to help bridge that gap, and that helps with the buzzword affordability. It makes it more affordable for people to buy these homes. So I think it's really interesting to see all this take place in real time. I don't know what's going to happen in 2026. All the quote-unquote experts think mortgage rates are going to stay kind of where they are. I mean, we're going to see ups and downs every day. We might hit into the upper fives a little bit. We might go up to 6.5 a little bit, but probably floating somewhere between 5.75 and 6.5. So I don't know that we're going to get a whole lot of relief with mortgage rates unless there's something that happens from the government standpoint, which President Trump did throw out this past week that they were really going to tackle housing really hard and see what they can do to help with affordability. I'm not sure what all they can do, quite frankly, because, it really comes down to what is a willing seller and a willing buyer. What are they going to meet on? And a lot of our sellers are still a little bit stubborn with their prices. And a lot of our buyers are still facing some affordability challenges. So I'm not looking for a lot of things out of Washington that's going to help it, but anything that's going to help us with some reduction in rates or some incentives for first-time home buyers or something certainly will be welcome. But again, we'll just have to wait and see on that. And if I'm looking to buy a home, I'm really not going to wait around a real long time for that. We know most of the time things in Washington takes a while, and a lot of times it's overpromise, underdeliver. So I'm just going to go on about my life, and if it's in the cards for me to buy a house, I'm going to buy a house. If it's in the cards for me to sell my house, I'm going to sell my house. And I'm not going to give a whole lot of thought about what Washington's doing. But then we'll see. We'll see if there's any relief there in any way. So this is your Murfreesboro Real Estate Report for the week ending December 25th. Again, I'm John Turner with the Turner Victory Team of Onward Real Estate. Bring this to you every week. As always, we ask you, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Please comment below. Any comments, anything that you would like to see us cover, we'd be more than happy to cover that. Any questions you have about the information that we've brought forth, let us know, and I will answer those personally. And we look forward to seeing you next week. But until then, I hope you have a great week. Hope you have a wonderful Christmas. And like I say, we'll see you next week.